like I was saying, man, horse, tall, short. This is what one begins with when learning. So here's two beautiful things to take from this. The first one is that Ibn Faris, who is from 100 years ago, a scholar and a reference in the Arabic language, who did a lot of works that we refer now back to, and that the scholars that you refer back to right now have referred back to, like Al-Ajurumiyya and these books, they have referred back to Ibn Faris and these sort of scholars. First of all, he says you need to start with vocabulary. That's what you start with when you learn. So anybody out there who's studying,
let's start with grammar, because you need to understand the Quran, you need to understand the grammar.
Well, this is scholars from 100 years ago. So why are we reinventing the wheel now? And the second thing is that him saying you start with knowing ma'rifatul asma was sifat. So you start with knowing these words is the capability of being able to retrieve it, not just recognizing. If I like a child, when you show him a picture, what is this? And they say apple. But now if you want to tell them, you remember that thing that is red and has this form, what is it called? It's like, oh man, I don't remember exactly. So this is what happens when you learn the language and you haven't used it enough. You read a book and perhaps you recognize it better than you are able to retrieve it off your mind. And the reason why this happened is because, again, you haven't used it enough, and you haven't رسختها enough. You haven't embedded it enough in your brain, or haven't used it enough so it embeds in your brain. And you have been stuck in this place, which is where you're able to recognize it, but you're not able to retrieve it yet. And this is why you, in language in general, you always better at understanding than actually speaking it and using and producing language yourself. And you probably at this stage right now where you say that I understand more than I can speak, but I get what you mean, right? And this happens with all languages. I speak 5 languages, and I've gone through this situation over and over. All it comes back to conclude this step, is usage. The more you get stuck and you don't know how to say that thing that you are trying to say in your mind, and you go through the practice of like the rep. Now imagine as if you was in the gym and you get to failure. That trying is where you're actually working. So in language, if you get to a point where it's like, how can I say that thing? And if you take this as a learning phase, and you say, okay, let me try and retrieve it, or let me look it up so I don't forget the next time.
Quick note, if you want the step-by-step technical breakdown of how I learn the Arabic language, how my students are learning the Arabic language right now at Andalusi Institute, I have a 1-hour in-depth video that I have linked in the first link in the description. In that video, I explain the method and everything that's required in order for you to achieve that goal, and even learn from the comfort of your home, as if you went to study to Egypt, Mauritania, Medina, or whatever it might be.